Data clerks and destined saviors. This is internet personality Vangelus, and Transformers 1 has its very own brand new, absolutely not deluxe class, which is also not in any way a warrior class. The Prime Changer class has arrived. Priced slightly below the deluxes, just like the core series Rise of the Beast deluxes or the warrior class toys of the last 9 years, but my pedantry goes long and hard, and I will always correct someone who calls these warrior class. Who knows how different the internal notes were between that price point and this one.
This video was sponsored in part by ToyHacks.com. Use the code 40th anniversary through the month of August 2024 for 15% off your order of labels and other paraphernalia. Using the code supports the channel. Supporting the channel feeds the machine.
Prime Changer Orion / Optimus is really just an Optimus Prime toy. Like, this figure does almost nothing to look Pax-like unless there's something in the film I'm unaware of. It is an endearing 5 inches tall and has a really pleasant set of average proportions, just looking kinda like a little man. The color work is bold and extremely classically Optimus Prime, with cold gray sandwiched between bright red and deep blue, and a few very eye-catching silver paint apps to boot. In fact, the head looks kinda magnificent from its detailed sculpt to its shiny silver paint and punchy blue optics. He also has both 3mm and 5mm ports on his posterior for multiple anal attachment options, which I can't recall seeing on a Transformer before. Prime's main accessory is his energy axe, which is a startlingly flat Allspark blue, but its secret sauce is the bonkers sculpting at its base. Prime's fingers are clearly visible, and when you plug this onto his right fist, it looks like the axe is erupting out of his palm, spreading his fingers in a weird but enthralling way. This is the most interesting peg-it-over-the-fist Prime axe I've seen in a long time. You can also tab it onto his backpack for storage, and it definitely looks like you slapped an accessory onto a toy's backpack. The shoulder pipes can also detach for use as handheld pistols, which I assume happens in the film given how clearly it's called out in the instructions. More Optimuses should do that. Finally, nestled within the torso in a remarkably difficult-to-access chamber, there's a Matrix accessory that does the classic big convoy approach of simply having a pair of 5mm handles to hold onto. More Optimuses should do that too. This Matrix does bring a downside, though, as it's a little too easy to knock it loose while it's inside Prime's chest, and getting it back in there can be a real task, exponentially so if it jostles loose while you're in vehicle mode. So what's the articulation like on a Prime Change? It's a lot like a Warrior or a Deluxe. It's a ball socket head. It can look way up from the transformation. Can't really tilt too much, unfortunately. Mostly left and right and up and down, but how up? There's a ball socket, big ball socket connection within the forearm, the bicep, the shoulder pod. But then a transformation hinge here allows you to click up a little bit to get some more T-pose enabled range. I will say it is easy, while trying to manipulate that hinge, to just pop that out, but it's a big ball joint, just goes right back in. The elbow bends like 91 degrees, and there's a bicep swivel. No wrist swivel, there is a transformation joint, so you can do that if you want. There's a actual waist joint down here, a ball socket hips, and these ball socket hips are big enough and wide enough to have a little bit of side-to-side wiggle, but you also just have a thigh swivel down at the bottom, and a 90-degree knee bend. No ankle joints, but the feet are sculpted in an A stance. Nothing feels like it's overly limited, and the 2 sets of moving parts on the shoulders give me a basic full shoulder range. I like this. The waist joint and a neck joint, like, it doesn't feel like anything's really missing for what this figure is. This transformation scheme is just delightful for the most part, and I'll get right into it. I think it's more fun than the Studio Series Deluxe version. Everything's just a little tighter, a little cleaner, and a little more satisfying. It is absolutely easier to accidentally yank parts off the Prime Changer version during this, but once you know how the process flows, you also know where to ease off the pressure. And it all ends in a marvelous 1-2 punch of an unexpected full leg inversion with very solid tab locks in either position, and the robot arms actually forming a connective tissue in the middle of the vehicle mode. Yes, the fists fold away too, but that's small beans compared to the fantastic way that the arms angle in and tab together to both the back of the red block and the edge of the blue plank. It's so clean. And this take on Transformers Uno's Big Red Leader Guy's alien truck mode just does it for me. Everything's tighter and more cohesive, and the silhouette is a banger. I don't know how screen accurate this is, but thanks to that leg inversion and the forearms forming a connective tissue, this Cybertronian alt mode has a sloping battering ram vibe that spreads a grin on my face whenever I look at it. It's also kind of adorable. Prime Changer Optimus compacts down a bit for his vehicular form, making him feel like an oversized Hot Wheels car. The axe can also store in the back of this mode, but you do need to split the legs open to nestle it in there. The loud strip of Allspark Blue kinda bothers me, so I usually just leave it off. Prime Changer's Optimus leaves a wonderful first impression on me for the whole size class, packing a fun and classic Transformers figure experience into a punchy little piece that absolutely takes a few swings at the Studio Series Deluxe. As I said in that review, I don't think either one is strictly better on every level, but for my own tastes, the Prime Changer is hitting a bit harder. It's just a shame it runs for 30 Canadian dollars rather than 20, as that would skyrocket the value proposition for me. But these non-generations toys do tend to hit sales far more frequently than the collector-aimed fare, don't they? Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and thanks to all my Patreon and YouTube member supporters, I don't feel like I'm in complete financial ruin from buying two different Transformers 1 Optimus toys on the exact same day.